Hello everyone, this is Mundan Raghavan. This video we are going to understand arrays in Java. Whenever you want to save a same kind of data element or same kind of data type elements under the variable, a single variable, that time you will be going for the array. A definition about the array is like, the array is a container object that holds a fixed number of values of a single data type. The length of an array is established when the array is created. Once you created the array, the length cannot be changed. And each item inside the array can be accessed by using the indexes. For array, the index will be starting from 0. Since you are seeing array as the container object, it is not the primitive data type, it will be the reference data type. However, whichever the elements you are getting inside the array, that can be the primitive as well as the reference data type. Now we have seen the introduction about the array. Next will be the creation of array. The creation of array will be having 3 parts: declaration, instantiation, and initialization. We can start using the JShell just to understand this one. Here you can see integer, open and square brackets, which is the representation of the array. And we are giving the variable name, which means that we are creating the variable or we are declaring the variable, which is for the integer array. The type can be anything. For example, it can be float, it can be primitive, any data type, or it can be even reference data type. Followed by the square brackets, which means that we are just intended to create the array. So now it will be showing as a null because the default value for any reference data type will be null. Now we have completed the first part, declaration. Next one, instantiation. So we are using the same variable name which we declared in the first step. Then after we are just using the new operator. Why? Because it is the reference data type. Now we need to give the same data type that we have given for the array creation or array declaration. Inside the square brackets, now we are giving the length of the array, which means that what is the maximum capacity we want for the given array. Now we want to have 4 elements inside the array. So that's why we are giving the 4. And all the 4 elements will be set to the default values of the data type integer, which is nothing but 0 in our case. So now we can assign the values by using the indexes. Let's say I'm going to assign the value for the first element. The first element starts with index 0, and I'm giving just some value, enter. Now if you try to print the ID list, you can see here the value has been given to that. So this way we can assign values, we can get the values of any data from the array by using the indexes. Let's try out something which is different. So we are trying to access the index which is not present or which is out of the array. Let's say index of 8. So you will be getting the exception, array index out of bounds exception, which means that you are trying to access the index which is not inside the array or which is out of the capacity of the array. So that's the reason we are getting array index out of bound exception. The another thing is, let's say we have created the array type of integer, which means that we can only insert the type of integer data. Let's say I'm trying to create some float value. So you cannot do that. It will be giving the compile time error, which means that the possible lossy conversion double to int. So which means that it will not save it practically. But however, if you try to do that, it may be losing the conversion because it is the downcasting. But however, in general, you will be having the same data type inside the array. When you declare the array, the type of integer, which means that you can only insert the values of integer data type. Just to have a different things, we can try to insert some character data type. So here, however, we are using the different index, the wrong index. Let's give for 1. So which means that here the character will be automatically converted into the integer value ASCII value. So that's the reason you are seeing 99 as the value. If you now again just to see the ID list, you can see 99 will be your first index value. Next one, we are going to see the length parameter. So let's say if you are having ID list or any array, the reference for the array and ID list dot length. So this will be giving the length of the array. This can be used inside of loops to identify the length of the array to iterate it. We have seen the declaration, instantiation, initialization in the 3 different steps we can do in a single step as well. Here you can see integer, new ID list, and the array. Some people prefer to type the square brackets after the variable name, even that will be allowed. But generally the naming convention will be like the array, the symbols should be after the data type. It can be here as well, or it can be at the end as well. So to be consistent, we will be having here. Here you can see the new ID has been created or new array has been created. So this means in the single step, you are just declaring as well as the instantiation also happens. Some people, they will be having the data handy, so they can create the directly the array by using the angular brackets, or let's say the flower brackets. Integer array, the variable name, and here we are using the angular brackets or square brackets, and we will be giving the values 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Directly it will be creating the array. Next one, array iteration. So array iteration can be done using both the loops, for example, enhanced for loop or normal loops. For simplicity, we will try the single dimension array. We are going to use the normal for loop. So for and integer j, which will be the temporary variable inside the iteration, and we are giving the ID list. We know that ID list having the different values 333, 99, and 00, and we are inside the for loop. We are just printing the value there. Here you can see the output of the iteration. So far we have seen the integer array, but we told that the array can hold the reference data type as well. So for that, we are going to use the string reference data type. However, this string, the class is not created by us. It was given by the Java itself. But however, we can use our own data type or own classes also. But for simplicity, we are going to use the string array. Just to confirm that one, you just go to here and any Eclipse IDE, just click on the string control. And you can see this is also another class. So that's why it will be called as a reference data type. Okay, fine. Now we know that string is the reference data type. We can create the array. Here you can see we are mentioning the data type, which will be the data elements data type inside the array, and we are mentioning the square brackets, which will be mentioning we are creating the array. So in simple, we are creating the string array, and the variable name is student name array, and we are instantiating here itself, and we are giving the length of 3. We know that the string default value will be null because the reference data type. Now you can assign the values continuously. Let's try multiple values. Okay, it is something giving error. We need to go one by one. And index manually, I'm just updating or incrementing one by one. Now, if you see the array, it will be having the different 3 values under the string array. The same way we can iterate it here. Since it's a J shell, I'm just making as a single statement. Or single line statement, you can tell. Here you can see the iteration output. So now we have proved that, or we have known that arrays can hold the primitive data type as well as the reference data type. Now we can just move to the multi-dimensional array. So multi-dimensional array is nothing but n into n or m into n matrix kind of thing. It will be having rows and columns. But however, we can have multi-dimensional more than 2D also. But for simplicity, we will understand the 2D. Maximum scenarios, we will be using the 2D array. here you can see we are creating the integer data type array. So that's the reason integer followed by the 2 square brackets, which means that we are creating 2-dimensional array and variable name 2D array. And here also the same way new the data type, and we will be having again 2 square brackets, and we are going to give the size of the individual, let's say, dimension. Now here you can see the created output. So the which means that the first rows, or let's say it will be having 3 rows and 3 columns. And each row will be having again single dimensional array, which will be having 3 values. All will be set to the default values as of now, because we are giving as a we have just completed an instantiation. In order to set up the value, now we are going to use the for loop, but it will be the traditional for loop because we are just handled with the indexes. In order to access both the layers, for example, let's say you want to access the first layer will be the rows. You need to access row by row. Once you get into the single row, you need to access column by column. So that's the reason you will be having 2 layers of access, which will be reflecting as a 2 layers of for loop. The first for loop will be going to the first layer of rows. Once you get into the first row, again, you will be having another for loop, which will be going for the individual columns inside your row. So just see here. We are just assigning some value randomly. So here the first value will be given as a 2. Just confirm that one. Okay, we have set it. I think I can clear the screen. The array name will be 2D array. Yes, the first value, or let's say the first row and first column will be having the value as 2. Okay, just we will see the output, 2 layers of output. Or we can go to our Eclipse rather than typing a multi-level inside the J shell. Now this time we can switch to the Eclipse. So I will comment out remaining all the things. All right, even I can remove it just to have a simplicity. So now we have the array created, and we are just assigning the value for the first row and first column, because index will be starting from 0, and we are just going to iterate here. So what happens is first time it will get into the row. So that's the reason I will be 0. And second time it will be just looking for the J, which will be pointing to the column. Since we are into the first row, so we will be having the first, let's say the layer will be 0. So 2D array layer will be 0, the first row. Inside that we are getting into the first column. So that's the reason 0, it will be there. Once you get into this first iteration of the inner loop, it will be changing to the next column. And it will be keep on continuing until the entire columns getting completed. Once you complete the entire columns, that means that you are done with the first row. It will be come out of the inner loop, and you will be just going to the next line just to have a difference. Otherwise, it will be printing in the same line. So once you get into the next line, now the outer loop will increase the outer layer, which will be going to the next row or second row. In the second row, you will be getting to the inner loop again. You will be going the each column from the second row. Once you complete the second row, all the columns, you will be coming out of the inner loop, and you will be incrementing one more time, which will be going to the last row. Once you complete the last row, you will be coming out of the total loop. Oh, sorry. Here you can see. So this will be the, each row will be considered as the outer loop, and each column will be considered as the inner loop. So this kind of scenarios, you might be using the traditional for loop. For let's say for collection, or let's say if you want to just see the values or just assign something or get the values, so that time you will be using the enhanced for loop. Generally for assigning the new values, we will be going for the for loop with the traditional way. For just to see the values, we will be going with the enhanced for loop. The same thing can be done with the enhanced for loop. Just for, but this time you will not be knowing which one is the row, which one is the column. We will be just iterating all the things from the loop. So let's say integer and k, and you will be giving the array value or let's say array reference. And key. I think probably I'm out of the things. It should be okay. Okay, fine. So I am just getting into the integer array, because when you iterate the first layer, it will be giving the row. The row is again a single dimensional array. So that's the reason the type of the first layer will be the integer array. Once you get into that, now the second loop will be just getting into the individual column value. So let's say integer C, and we are getting the K. C. Then let's say system.out.println. Just we are going to the next line. For individual row or every single row, we should be in the same line. So just I'm removing as a print statement rather than the println. Now, as of now, I just comment these lines and save it and run it. So we are seeing in the same line. Why? Because now we are not coming out of the loop. Okay, fine. Once you complete, it is directly printing inside the println, or let's say in the single line. So what might be the reason? Okay, so that might be the reason. Okay, fine. So I am not using, because if in the for loop, if you have a single statement, the angular braces are not required. So that may be the reason. So I have not put the angular braces for the inner loop. Let Control Shift F, it will format everything. So now the entire loop completes here, inner loop completes here. Okay. Save it and run it again. Here you can see the same way. If you want to have some distance inside the inner loop, you can just add tab character so that you can have the some spaces. You can see it here. So this way we have seen what is array and what are the different 3 steps we can use it when you create the array. And we have seen how to give the length of the array when you create or when you instantiate. And we have seen if you are giving the more than the index value, so what would be the error? Array index out of bounds exception. And we have seen if you try to assign a other than the type of array value, for example, you created the integer array, you are trying to assign some other value. So generally it will be converted into the integer data type, which can lead into the lossing or precision. Or let's say you will be just saving some value that will be a different value of integer. For example, if you are saving the character value, but it will be converted into the ASCII, which will be again type of integer. And we have seen the parameter called length. Even this length we have used in the traditional for loop as well to know the end of the array. And we have seen how to do the declaration and the instantiation in a single statement. And we have seen rather than creating instantiation everything, if we have the set of values ready for hand, so that time you will be directly creating the array like this. And we have seen the array iteration can be done using the enhanced for loop as well as the traditional for loop. And we have seen in the arrays, not only the primitive data types you are getting inside, we can getting inside with the reference data type as well. For that purpose, we have seen how to have the string values inside your array. And we have seen how to create the multi-dimensional array. And we have seen how to iterate the multi-dimensional array. In simple, we have seen only for 2D array by using the 2 layer of for loops by using inner and outer loop. So this is the introduction, or this is about the very basic on the arrays. So thanks all, thanks for watching and have a great day.